Good morning everybody, and welcome back to another mobility session. And today we're going to be covering wrists. This is designed for anyone who trains any particular style of training, fighting in general, training in general, like weights or calisthenics, hand balancing. Suits everybody. So today's equipment, you will need a mobility stick and also just floor in general. You can also utilize a mat just to make sure your knees are not sore by kneeling down on the floor. So yeah, let's get into it. And we're going to be utilizing things like cars, controlled articular rotations, rails and pails, and mobility stick, just movement in general. So yeah, let's get into it. So I also encourage you to use a timer. So to begin with, we're going to start using 2-minute passive stretch and getting into the kneel position, holding. Make sure you keep your heel of your hand on the ground and go to your maximum position. You're going to be holding this for 2 minutes. After the 2 minutes, you're going to push into the floor with your fingers, contracting all your muscles around your hands and forearm. This is your pails contraction, progressive angular asymmetric loading. And then after the pails contraction, we're going to go into the rails contraction, which is going to be more of a opposite stretch, activating the muscles to support the stretch that we've just done. So keep kneeling down, keep holding the stretch. Connect to your breathing, 4 seconds in, 4 seconds out through your nose. In 3 seconds, we're gonna push into the floor and contract, pushing as hard as you can into the ground, contracting your fingers, contracting the forearms. We've got 10 more seconds here, pushing in, push, push, push. 3, 2, and 1, and gently come out. And then we're gonna be in this position, so our hands behind. We're going to elevate that position and stretch by activating. This is more of an active stretch, holding this position for 20 seconds. Okay, 3, 2, 1, and elevate as much as you can. And relax. Now we're going to be going into that flexion, so holding the stretch. Again, 2-minute stretch. If this is too hard, just do one arm at a time. Okay, making sure that the elbow comes in internally. You can wiggle your fingers as well at the same time, just making sure that you are stretching all those muscles around the forearms. 30 more seconds to go. And gently come out and wiggle your arms gently just to get that movement into the forearms. Okay, so now we've done 2 stretches. We're going to do more of a movement including the rotation in the arm, so making sure that we're working on that internal rotation and external rotation in the bend position. So you're gonna need a stick for this. So to make it harder, you can hold it at the end of the stick. To make it easier, you can keep the hand inside closer to the middle. Okay, so it's gonna look like this. So making sure that you're not using your body to rotate. So here's more of a stretch down the bottom, so hitting the stick towards the floor and then rotating it back towards the other side. So again, try not to compensate using the body, and go to where you're comfortable rotating. We're gonna pause here. Okay, you can apply the pressure down a little bit more if you want to, or you can just support if it's too much. Support with the fingers underneath the stick, holding the stretch. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, and bring it out. And we're gonna switch the sides and repeat the same on the other side. Then hold, making sure your fingers are gripping nice and tight around that stick. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. This is really good for pull-ups. So let's say you can't rotate your hand inside, so you always feel like you want to rotate. Okay, it's also got to do with your shoulder, but also your forearm if you can't internally rotate that wrist. So making sure that if I'm pushing it down, you can see that I'm stretching those forearm muscles and wrist joint to be able to go into that position. Okay. Now the other movement is going to be more of a ulnar deviation and radial deviation. So you're going to be in the kneel position, so you look like you're fishing. So you're going to be moving from this position to this position. Okay, 10 repetitions on each side. sure that you're not raising that forearm, so you're not doing this. So more localizing that stretch in the forearm. You can also keep your other hand on the forearm, just to make sure that you isolate that stretch. 3, 2, and 1, and change sides. Alright, now we're done with the stick. We're gonna go back to the floor and we're gonna do finger push-ups, so pushing into that first knuckle. So raising as high as you can without taking the fingers off the floor. So you will see me doing a push-up into that position, so make sure you're not leaving the fingers off the floor. Gonna do 20 repetitions, alright? Hold. And come out. Alright, and the last stretch is going to be focusing on that rotation. So it's all about shoulder internal rotation as well. So keeping the hand internally in. So fingers are going to be pointing back towards me. You can keep the other hand on top to make sure that you isolate that spot around here. So we're going to focus on 1 minute per side. And you're going to lean back towards your heels and keep your heel of the hand on the ground. 3, 2, 1, and come out. Okay, and we're gonna finish off with cars, wrist cars, to just reinforce that movement, utilizing controlled articular rotations to reinforce the expansion that we've just did with our wrists. So making sure that you hold the forearm and belly of the forearm is looking up to the ceiling, and you're going to rotate your palm in the circular motion, in a circular way, to the points and to the outer ranges of your movement as much as you can. Try not to compensate by using your fingers, and just rotate to the outer limits of that movement. Okay. This is going to reinforce the mechanoreceptors inside the joint. Mechanoreceptors communicate to the brain and central nervous system to reinforce the control and reinforce the range of motion. And doing these every day is actually quite good to keep the ranges of motion that we have inside the joint. And lubricating the joints as well, because ligaments and tendons only get the nutrients through the movement, because they don't get the blood flow. So moving the joint in as much as you can helps to keep that joint healthy. And you're gonna change the direction and go the other way. So circular movement to the outer ranges of that joint, utilizing all that range of motion that we've just gained by doing the stretches. We switch sides, one way first. Change direction. Last one. And there you have it. So wrist mobility. Let me know what you think about this routine, and yeah, just go along with the sort of like your own limitations. Don't rush it. If the stick feels too heavy, then just keep your hand closer to the middle. And yeah, keep moving and just feel how your body feels in those different positions. And it's important that we take care of our hands, because again, it's going to relate back to our elbow and shoulder, being able to use the wrist as efficiently as possible, especially if you're hand balancer or practicing calisthenics. So yeah, let me know guys how you feel, and we'll see you next time.